Hello and welcome to the SMID Dashboard instructional video. Here we will explain the process of going from starting out to having your first data capture on the dashboard. As you can see, I'm on the login screen. I've got an example school here. Everything that I use is going to be examples, so I'm not going to be revealing any student data. If I click login, I'm then given a page that says about the SMID report and dashboard and SMID seat. I want the SMID report and dashboard. Here, as you can see, it says a big red box that says Setup Admin and some grey boxes for the different year groups. I'm going to click on that Setup Admin and it's going to take me into the admin area. The first process is to add the pupil groups. If I click pupil groups, I then get the option to add up to 6 pupil groups and a maximum of 4 characters for each. So I'm just going to simply add pupil premium and SEN. If I needed to change these for whatever reason, I wouldn't want to delete them. I would want to go in and click on them and make the change. If I was to delete them after adding pupils, any pupils linked to those groups, the link would be removed. Now, returning to the admin panel, I now have the option of entering data for any of these year groups. So I'm going to select year 10. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is add some subjects. So if I click on add subjects, it asks me for the QAN codes. So please enter the QAN codes for all the subjects being studied by this year group. So you will need to collate the QAN codes into a file. That can be any sort of file. I've got mine shown here in an Excel file. I can highlight these here and I can then copy them and paste them into the form. So if I copy that and I take it back to the website, then I right click and paste. Now all the information is now there. I can see all the different QAN codes. If I was to add, just for example, if I was to just add another code at the bottom that wasn't a real QAN code, and then click check qualifications, it will pull out the ones that are real. They're down the side here, and it pulls out the fake one over there. So what I'm now going to do is just enter the subject data for these QAN codes. So dance, drama, maths, English language, core science, additional science, and here I have the option of level 1 and level 2. I'm just going to take the level 2 one, as all I need is I can record the level 1 scores under the level 2 bracket using L1P. So I'm just going to click that, and then I'm going to click save qualifications, and that's going to put the qualifications into the system. And as you can see, it says they're all saved down here. That other one that didn't save just says display name that can't be blank. That's fine, because they're saved here. So here I have the QAN code, this qualification title, my title for that qualification, also the recognised grades that go with that qualification. So for example, I've got my Key Stage 3 sub-levels there, my U to A star, and the number scheme 1 to 9. As you can see, if it's a specific qualification like BTEC Sport here, it has a different grade scheme. So fail, pass, merit, distinction, distinction, star. These are the different symbols I can use. And as you can see there, you can use the level L1P to represent the level 1 pass. So now that I've got all my qualifications added, I can go down and I can go back to my configuration panel. Here I have the ability to add classes. So if I click on add classes, I can now download the qualification list, and then I can add the classes in 2 ways. So I can either add them like this, so I have maths, then the class, then the class, then the class, physics, then the class, then the class, then the class, or I could do it as a vertical class list, where I've got maths 9MA1, maths 9MA2, etc. going on down. So it's up to you, depending on how you export it from your MIS system. So to give you an example that I've actually got it in the format where it's going horizontally. But as I say, you could do it vertically. As you can see, I've got all my qualifications here. Just to make an example, I've just added an incorrect one, and I've just given it a class name so that we can see what happens there. So I'm now going to import this file. So I'm going to choose the file, which is my test class list, and then I'm going to click import. So now it will take a couple of seconds, and as you can see, in green it tells me all the different classes that were saved, and it tells me that this one, the school qualification, does not exist. So that's fine. And as I go down, I can see that all my classes are there. If I needed to just add another class for whatever reason, I can use this form here. So if I was to need to add another class to English, I could start typing in English, put a comma, and then put the class as example here, Core Science, comma, 10SC1. So that allows me to do it manually if you wanted to just add a couple of classes throughout the year. Okay, returning to the Year 10 configuration panel. Actually, I'm just going to go back into the classes, because within the classes, if I wanted to change the name of a class for whatever reason, I can just simply click on the class name, and then it will give me the option to make that change. So if that was needed to be changed throughout the year, rather than deleting that class and removing all the results that are linked to that class, I could just click on it and make that change. Okay, going back to the top. If I wanted to add pupils as the next stage, I click on Add Pupils. Now, I then download the template. So if you first of all you download the template, you then get some headings on the top that are like this. So it asks for a code that must be unique to that pupil. So use the code that's stored within your MIS. Don't just make up one, because then you're going to end up needing to make up every time you upload the data. The forename and the surname, please make sure that they're completed. You can then use the gender and the form group. Those are both optional. If you don't want to put that in, you don't have to. You then have the option to add into Key Stage 2 Maths level, Key Stage 2 English level. So these are the sub-levels as written here. You can then use the fine scores. So these are the 1.5 to 5.9 fine scores that are recognised to calculate the expected attainment 8. And finally, the school groups. So those school groups that we added at the start. So that pupil premium and that SEN. So if I look at my example file, as I can see here, I've got a unique code. I've got the forename and the surname of the pupil. I have the gender, the form group, the Key Stage 2 Maths level, the Key Stage 2 English level, the Key Stage 2 Maths fine, the Key Stage 2 English fine, and finally the pupil premium and the SEN. Now, as you can see, a couple of things to note here. These are not rounded. Please don't round them. If you round them, then it means that you can end up with a miscalculation. The SEN and pupil premium, as you can see, within the pupil premium slot here, I've used a Y. However, you can use up to 4 characters. So in SEN here, you can use K, S, and these will be split into subgroups depending on what you put in there. Okay, so now let's import that file into our system. So if I choose the file, pupil list, import pupils. So now it allows you to have this overview. So you can see if any of these were red, so for instance, if there was a code or a surname or a forename missing, they would come up red, and that would mean they weren't going to be saved. However, these ones that are amber, it just means that this calculation will be made. So Key Stage 2 Maths levels and Key Stage 2 English level, that doesn't exist, but it's going to make a calculation from the fine grades, and vice versa. So here where we've got the level, it's going to make a conversion to make a fine grade. You then you can just check to make sure all the students are there, check that none of them are red, and then once you finish, you just click Save. And then we get a processing form that looks like this, and you can see the blobs will spin round. That will take probably about 20 to 30 seconds within the pupil section. There we go, it's completed. And now we have all those pupils there. We have their code, the surname, the forename, the gender, all the details we've uploaded. We've got that average that's been calculated, and also an expected attainment 8 score. That information's all now saved. If I wanted to update to the 2015 point scores, which we wouldn't suggest, for reasons that you can read about in one of our articles on 2015 provisional expected attainment 8 scores, you can click that button there and it will update them. If you need to download that data for whatever reason, you might want to be making comparisons to your own data, you can download it there. Or if you need to delete all those pupils, then you can just simply press delete, but that will remove all of their results. Okay, going back to the panel, we now have the add data captures. So if I click on add data captures, this is going to let me create a new data capture, which I can then use to import data into. So for instance, let's say we're going to call this January progress summary. So I'll just call it Jan PS. I can then make the date whatever I want. I can make it, change it. I can put it in. We can put past data in if you like. You can even preempt the dates that they're going to be done on and record them previously. We can then add the thresholds, so you can change the thresholds to whatever you want. So for instance, the grey threshold here for levels of progress, I might want to make 0 rather than -1. I could make this progress 8 one -4 if I wanted to for this grey threshold. You can change them to what you like. You can't change the order, but you can change the values as where you think those thresholds should appear. So if I create the data capture, that's then going to take me into a file where I can now add data into it. So as you can see, there are no results. I can click add/update data, and this is where the process starts of importing the data. So this is the process that you'll go through each time that you enter a data capture. You don't need to add subjects, you don't need to add classes, and you don't need to add pupils again. That's just done once at the start of the year. In terms of getting the data into the data capture, this is the process that you'll do each time. So if you've created that new data capture, now to get the data into the system, you need to have it in this format: code, surname, forename, subject, class, result, attendance. The important bits here are the code, the subject, the class, and the result. If you struggle to get those into one file due to some limitations within your MIS, we have created a number of data converters that we're adding to all the time that will allow you to make that conversion process happen. So I'm just going to take 2 minutes just to have a quick look at those. So let's say, for example, you can't get it in that format, but you are able to get it into this format. So this is option 1. So I've got the code, the surname, the forename, but then I've got each subject. So I've got physics class, physics result, English class, English result, maths class, maths result, and so on. And at the end, I've got the attendance. So if you are able to export it into this format, you would get something that looks like this. You would have something that looks like this in your Excel file, with the code, the surname, forename, each of the classes, each of the subjects, with the classes beneath them, and then the result. If you can get it in that format, then we can import that, and I'm going to show you what it does. So if I choose that file, option 1, and I convert it, I now get it in the format that I require. So the code, the forename, the surname, the subject, the class, the result, and the attendance. It's more of a vertical format. So that's fine. So if you're able to export it like that, then do so. If, however, you can't, and this is a common problem with the MIS Sims, you can export it as 2 separate files, which you can then match together. So within Sims, for example, you can export the code, the surname, the forename, the subject, and the class. You can match those up, and you can also export the code, the surname, the forename, the subject, and the result, and the attendance, but there's no way of getting the class and the result on the same file. So in file 1, you simply choose the file, class. I'll just show you that actually before I import it. So we've got the class here, the code, the forename, the surname, the subject, the class. And we've also got, I'll show you the other file at the same time, we've got the one with the code, the forename, the surname, the subject, the result, and the attendance. So in order to get these so that they're in classes, you simply upload the class file. So that's going to appear here in the sense that it gives you the different subjects. And then we're going to look at the result file. So I've now got the class subjects there, and I've now got to match them up. Now, if they already match, for instance, dance is the same in each file, then that's fine. However, if they don't already match, for instance, additional science, in this file is called additional science, and in this file it's called add science, I would need to just match them up. I can then click merge files. It will do that. It merges them. It puts them into code, forename, surname, subject, class, result, attendance. And then finally, I can download that as a CSV, and I can save that file ready for the upload. Okay, so I've gone through the 2 converters that we have at the moment. Going back to the actual upload, if I go to step 1, import your CSV file. This is where I'm able to select the CSV file I want to upload and upload it into the system. Just to give you a quick summary of the different buttons, I've got this button simply refers to it simply refreshes the page, so the red button refreshes the page. The Save Progress button will temporarily save your progress, but however, if you log out, then it will no longer be saved. And finally, the Download CSV button. This downloads the CSV file so that you can come back and edit it in the future. So if you need to, for whatever reason, go away, find out some information, add it to the file, come back, then this will save it as to where you're up to. Finally, save results. This will save the results into the system. Okay, so this will save all those results that you're happy with. So do not click this button until you are definitely happy with the results you are saving. Finally, let's go through the actual process. So if I select the file that I want, so I'm going to select this data capture file, I'm then going to click upload. I now have a step 2, which allows me to match the subjects. So I have the CSV qualifications. These are the ones that have come out of the CSV file I've uploaded. If these are then to be matched to the ones on the system. If they match already, they will be matched up straight away. So additional science matches straight away to additional science, dance to dance, drama to drama, etc. However, mathematics here is not matched. Therefore, I'm going to select the subject it should be, and here I've called it maths. Now, if you've managed to call your subjects the same as your MIS, then this process will be really smooth. It should match them all up. If you haven't been able to do that for whatever reason, you'll need to go through and match each subject. So once I've done that, I just click Update Subject Match. It does it instantly, as you can see. It's just changed them so they're all matched up. I'm then going to go down to step 3. However, before that, if I needed to add a subject for whatever reason, if one wasn't there that I'd forgotten to add, I can click Add Subject. It will do it in a new tab. I can add a new subject. I then close that tab, come back to my data upload page, and I would just need to click the refresh button. That will just simply refresh the page. I can carry on from where I left off. So then, the next step. This is if any of the classes are missing. So for example, if you have, in this case, English language, I've missed off and not included Year 10 English Set 6. Okay, so that will therefore come up there. If you've missed off a number of classes, they will all come down as a list. You can then save either some of these or all of these by clicking on this button. So when I click Save, this is going to open up the Add Classes page. And going down to that bit where you have the ability to add classes manually, it will then populate them in here. So if there are a number of them and you didn't want to add one of them, you can just simply delete them. So if I click Save Classes, it's then going to add that to the system. So as I can see, that's been saved. I then go back here and I click Refresh. And if I go down to step 3, you can now see that that's disappeared. Okay. The last thing here, step 4, before we get to the Save Results part, is matching the results up. So if a result doesn't match, for instance here in geography, I've got a result of an N, okay, which isn't valid. I can then select what I want that to be. So for instance, if an N was actually meant to be U, then I can click on it, U there, and I can click Update Results, and it's going to get rid of them. Now, before I upload, if I want to, I can scroll through this whole file, and I will be able to see if there are any errors, because along the top here we've got code, forename, surname, subject, class, result, and then we have a number of errors. Potentially it could have a missing class and a missing result and a missing subject, so there's a number of errors potentially there. However, I've now got to the point where I don't have any errors, so I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to click the Save Results button that's at the top here. So when I click Save Results, it disappears, and I'm now going to be redirected to that page I was on initially where those results are going to be added. And as you can see, one of them has been added already. If I just click Refresh on this page, we'll see that this goes up. So I've now got 39 added. This process takes about 5 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on how many results are in your file. So I'm going to stop now, and I will see you again when that file is being uploaded. Now the results have loaded. We can see them displayed here in the table. First of all, we've got the code, surname, forename, we've got the results, we've got which data capture it's in, the class. We then got the point score, which is from the conversion. We've got the levels of progress, the progress rate contribution, the category, the qualification, the time it was updated at, and then an option to edit or delete the results. Now, to look at this in terms of looking at a pupil, we can select just one pupil. So I can select Jeffrey Allen, and I'll have just his results. Or I might want to specifically find a subject or a class. So for instance, if I went to dance and then went to 10DA1, I could then edit a specific result if there was something I was looking for. So I could edit that, change the result, click update, and all this point score, levels of progress, progress rate contribution will change. Now we also have the add update data, so that takes us back to adding more data. We also have a button that says results that didn't save. Now this results number over here, 1484, this should match the number of rows in your CSV file. So if it doesn't, as in if it's too small, then it's likely that there'll be a number of results that didn't save for whatever reason. So if you right click on this and then click download link file or save target as or save file, depending on what browser you're using, you can then save this and re-upload it with the changes that you've made. If you want to just simply download the results or download a pupil summary, you can do that by clicking on either of these buttons and it will give you that information in one CSV file. This allows you to do any further analysis that you might feel necessary. If I just go back to the data captures, the list of data captures, you now can see that we've got these extra buttons underneath. So again, I could delete the data capture, or I could add and update data, or go back into that view and editing. But more importantly now, I might want to publish the data capture. So if I click on publish, this will now mean that any teacher that's logging in will be able to see that data capture. I also have two other options. These will appear after about an hour and a half of uploading the data. And this is the option to download the report or update the report. So if you were to add more data now, you'd want to update the report. If you were to want to download the report, you can click that download button. It will simply download the file and you'll be able to store it and save it locally. Thank you for taking the time to watch this instructional video, and we hope you have a pleasant experience with the SMID tools.